Good morning, everyone watching live on BAM YouTube. Let me know in the comments which market you are tuning in live from. The Hot Sheet covers what you need to know about the real estate industry in a 24-hour time period. And on today's Hot Sheet, I will discuss February's spike in home sales, mortgage applications, and what we've all been waiting for, Federal Reserve decision today. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. I am Byron Lazine, and the Hot Sheet starts now. Day two here in Portland, Oregon. Again, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. I've really enjoyed my time here at Turn On, final day of the event, 1,000-watt agency event. Just a spectacular venue. Not one sponsor in this lobby. BAM, studio, some games, some rolling papers, and that's it. This has just been an unbelievable event, and I've really enjoyed my time in Portland. If you are into fine dining at all, if you're like a foodie like me, amazing restaurant. So really thank you, 1,000-watt. Thank you for the first time ever doing a hot sheet live from conference lobby hall. And I think there'll be more to come in the future. We'll go live again here later this morning. So make sure you check out the live tab. We went live with Jay Thompson yesterday here as we kicked off the event. Jay has often been in the debate channels of Facebook. Many real estate agents know him as the former voice of Zillow for the agent community. Jay has since retired. And now let's retire January and talk about February's existing home sales. NAR just released these numbers yesterday. Incredible news for real estate agents, okay? We've got an enormous uptick in the seasonally adjusted annual rate of existing home sales. Let's take a look at what NAR reported yesterday. Sales, February, seasonally adjusted. So they're seasonally adjusting for the year, 4.58 million units. Median price comes in at $363,000. If you watched yesterday, we were talking about January's median price at $359,000 for the month. I anticipated with what we were seeing for the median price of pending sales at 375 that would be in the 360s, and there we are at 363 for February. Now, year over year, that's down a couple percent, which is good, right? Year over year, the Fed's going to want to see some resistance to these home prices, but we have seen the median home price go up month over month. January 359. Now February comes in at 363,000 nationally. Housing starts for February 1.45 million. That's seasonally adjusted as well. And then new home sales for January seasonally adjusted is 439,000. So why is the 4.58 million units such a big deal right now? Let's just take a look at the graph, and everything's down below in the daily download chart, daily download link where you can get all the charts and all of our sources every single day. If you sign up once, you just get those automatically sent to you. Total existing home sales, seasonally adjusted annual rate. Look at that line to the right. If you're listening and you're not seeing the chart in front of me, it was 4 million in January. 4 million seasonally adjusted home sales. That was what we were basing 2023 off of with NAR's numbers. Now we're at 4.58 million. So we basically just added 580,000 units, according to NAR, what they're looking forward on the year for sales, existing homes this year. It's a big jump from 4 million. Okay. Now let's keep this into context here, because I just mentioned this yesterday here at Turn On, where we're seeing like Facebook posts and Instagram posts act like this is 2021 all of a sudden. I saw a headline on Inman this morning. I was just kind of looking at everything. I'm always looking at everything. And it says, here's the headline: the spring 2023 market, 2021 all over again. That couldn't be there's the headline there. You can see it. That couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. So if we look at 2021 right now on this graph, 2021 was up at 6.3 million existing home sales annually adjusted. Okay. So 4.58, much better than the 4 million. We added 500,000 units. There's plenty of sales to go around. All right. I'm not saying there's not enough sales, but we're still 2 million home sales off of 2021. Don't confuse sellers and buyers to thinking 2023 is 2021. It's just not. But I love the news from NAR yesterday, where we have this uptick in seasonally adjusted home sales. Okay, let's look at the rest of NAR's report that they released yesterday. We talked about the median existing home price being at 363 for the month. That is down 0.2% from the previous 2% from the previous year, which is good. The inventory of unsold existing homes unchanged, okay, from the prior month at $980,000. 980,000 units. I apologize. At the end of February. Okay, so that's the equivalent of 2.6 months of supply. This time last year, we were at 1.7 months of supply. We were hopeful that we would see this number cross a million. NAR counts inventory on existing homes that are active on the market, as well as homes that are under contract. The number that we like to talk about here on the hot sheet is that 400. We're about 450,000 active listings on the market. All right, so unchanged at 980,000. We want to get that up over a million at some point this year. We know if we can increase inventory, home shoppers are going to have a better chance of getting an affordable home. Conscious and changing mortgage rates, home buyers are taking advantage of any rate decline. So we know that this is like day by day. Yesterday we ended at 6.75. Not the best day. That's above the average for the year for a buyer to lock in. We've seen opportunities for buyers just in the last 7 days to lock in under 6.5. So as these rates drop down, there's volatility. Some buyers are going to continue to move in and out of the market. This is according to our Chief Economist Lawrence Yun. Moreover, we're seeing stronger sale gains in areas where home prices are decreasing and the local economies are adding jobs. Okay. Total housing inventory registered at the end of February was the 980,000 units that we just mentioned. It's identical to January. It's up 15.3% from a year ago. So total inventory, including the pendings, is up from 850,000, still near all-time lows. Unsold inventory sits at 2.6 months of supply at the current sales pace, down 10.3% from January, but up from 1.7 months in February of 2022. Okay, so we dropped down from January, and it's going to be difficult throughout the spring to get that number to increase. But with any movement in inventory, that's going to be a good thing for buyers and home shoppers who are looking for an affordable option, as these median price points across the country will likely increase over the spring, right? We went from 359 January to 363. Certainly a case to be made that we're going to get closer to that 375 number throughout the spring, where we sit on these pending home sales. The median price point for pending home sales is $375,000 right now. If I'm an agent, if I'm somebody advising clients right now, I don't want them to believe, especially if they're a seller, that this is 2021. We're 2 million units short of 2021. We're going to talk about mortgage applications in just a second. We're well off of mortgage applications. Okay. That being said, if you position yourself in the market right now, these numbers are telling me right now is the time to be in the market. You're going to do fine. You'll do well as a seller. But we can't get confused that we're going to have 30, 40 offers on every single house. It's not the case. And on the flip side, a lot of sellers believe, well, I don't even know if I'm going to get my number, right? And this is where somebody who actually knows everything about what's going on in their market, it's really important to be working with sellers, because they may not believe. They're seeing some numbers right now. They're seeing some headlines that are pretty fearful. And so they may not even believe they can get list price. Well, what concessions do I have to make? And they could be leaving money on the table, right? So there's two sides of the story here. Brandon from ATX, your ATX realtor. Mortgage applications down while home sales are up. Mortgage apps usually lead home sales. Was the uptick just cash sales? So let's talk about mortgage applications. That's where we're going next. All right. Mortgage applications actually increased in the latest Mortgage Banker Association weekly survey. So mortgage applications increases just released yesterday, 3% from 1 week earlier, according to MBA. The market composite index, a measure of mortgage loan application volume increased at 3%. That's a seasonally adjusted number. So we're down to 38% from a year ago. Okay, I'm sorry, 36% from 1 year ago. And we've been at 43 early in the year. So that number is starting to improve. But demand, okay, for people using a mortgage application is off, in the high 30% right now. The number that we were just looking at on home sales, okay, that 4.5 million plus home sales, up from 4 million, has now come down to like being 20, 22, 23% off from last year. Okay, so that tells me that there's a little bit of volatility there. Think about that. If we're 20 to 25% off on seasonally adjusted existing home sales, but we're 36% still off on mortgage applications, that number over here could get worse March or April. I don't think it will. This is good news from NAR, the existing home sales. I'm super excited to see over 4.5 million projected home sales, but there's still some volatility. That number could get closer to the mortgage application. Obviously, there's a lot of cash in the system, so that's where the spread comes in there to the point from the comment. Treasury yields declined last week. We're going to see where those are at today because this is looking backwards. Hasn't been the case the last couple of days. And we know that that's where if we're looking short term, we're looking the next week, we're looking the next couple of weeks for pendings, we're going to follow that treasury yield driven by uncertainty over the health of the banking sector and worries about the broader impact of the economy. Everything's kind of on pins and needles to wait to see what happens today. Before we move to that conversation, let's just take a look at these charts that I have down below for from Mortgage Banker Association. First one here is this purchase application index. So you can see we're still kind of, riding that low level from 2010, 2012, 2014 timeframe on mortgage demand. We're at 169.3. And just to put that into context, we were like in the 350 range in 2021. Another example of 2021 and 2023 spring market being absolutely nothing alike. Here's a mortgage rate prediction for the end of the year. Okay, so an updated predictions, and then we're going to go to Mortgage Banker Association's overall predictions. Freddie Mac it's got us at 6.2% to end the year. We've been at about 6.4% average so far in quarter one. Fannie Mae believes we'll end the year at 6%. So Fannie Mae, 6.5% quarter one, 6.4 quarter two, 6.2 quarter three, 6% in quarter four. Mortgage Banker Association, it happens to be the most optimistic. Okay, they believe in quarter two we could be averaging 5.6%. Quarter three, 5.4, and they believe we'll end the year at 5.2%. So we'll end December in 2023 at 5.2% on the 30-year fix. Let me know in the comments if that would be a welcome sign for you, if you would like to see that. Okay, so here's the updated Mortgage Banker Association. This is a great table. I'd grab this table down below in the slides from Mortgage Banker Associations where they project out 2023 and 2024. So we talked about the 30-year fix from then, ending the year at 5.3%, and then 2024 they have us on the 30-year fix at 5.1 in quarter one, 5% in quarter two, 4.8 in quarter three, and 4.6 in quarter four. So these are updated numbers overall. 10-year they do have continuing to drop. Obviously, that makes sense. And they have that spread, that typical 2% spread, tightening up by the end of the year. Okay, so right now we're like on a 3% spread on the 10-year and the 30-year, right? We're at 6.4 average in quarter one here on the 30-year fix, and the average on the 10-year yield has been 3.6. That's almost 3%. That's uncommon. And so by the end of the year, they've got us at that 5.3% on the 30-year and 3.1 on the 10-year. So more of what we've seen historically over the years, a 2% spread between the 10-year and the 30-year. And then they have that carrying through in 2024, where you see a true 2% spread here on the table. I'll zoom in for that for people that are watching. There it is. You see 5.1 to 3.1, 5.1 on the 30-year in quarter one of 24, 3.1 on the quarter one 10-year, 5 and 3.1 quarter two, 4.8 and 2.9. So actually less than a 2% spread there in quarter three of 24, and then 4.6 and 2.8 in quarter four. So they really have that tightening up the end of 2024. Let's take a look at what they are projecting for housing starts here on this updated figure that came out yesterday from MBA. Housing starts, they've got the 1.4 million quarter one, which is reflective of single family. I'm sorry, 841,000 on single family, 1.3 million. These are seasonal annual numbers, and then two or more multifamily, 552,000. And so by quarter four of 2024, they got us at 1.587 million. Okay, so 2023, 1.4 million average for the year, and then 1.5 million average for 2024, and then 2025 actually up over 1.6 million. Home sales, let's see where they're at in comparison to NAR. Okay, total existing home sales. They don't have the 4.5 million number that NAR has. So they just came out with their updated yesterday. NAR obviously was at the 4.5 number. They're still at they're at 4.4. So they're not that far off. They're about 150,000 units off from where NAR was. And 2024, they have us over 5 million. Okay. So there you go. That's the Mortgage Banker Association's updated projections just released yesterday. You can grab that down below if you'd like. Now, what we've all been waiting for, we won't actually know until 2 o'clock today. What do we think Jerome Powell over at the Fed is going to do with him and his buddies? Markets expect this quarter-point rate increase. That's what we've been hearing the last week. And those bets from Wall Street have intensified over the last 48 hours. Markets expect a quarter-point rate increase from the Federal Reserve, taking its benchmark funds rate to a range of 4.75 to 5. Okay, so the first time we'll hit 5, highest level since late 2007. If they do, in fact, do that 25 basis point hike later today, the Fed could alter its post-meeting statement from saying ongoing increases. That's what they said just 30 days ago. They talked, or I guess it was roughly 45 days ago, the last time they met, where they said we're going to continue to see increases. So before the banking crisis, the expectation was that means well into and maybe even through the summer that the Fed would raise this federal interest rate. There's belief, there's some optimism, I guess, that even if they do raise 25 BP today, that they'll come out and say this could be it. We'll be looking at stopping the increases here moving forward. Okay, so we'll see what he says. Everybody's going to be hanging on pins and needles as Jerome gives his talk later today. Fed officials will release their projections for unemployment, inflation, gross domestic product, and perhaps most importantly, the peak rate and when it may end this hiking campaign. His post-meeting news conference will also attract much attention from traders. Let's see. I know the market pre-market was basically flat. Let's see what was up yesterday, which was interesting. It's down a little bit, so we're 18 minutes after open, but it's really just flat. It's down 24 points in the Dow, which is nothing. S&P's flat, Nasdaq's flat. So you would probably expect that to be the case throughout the day, unless these guys catch wind of what is going to be said at 2 o'clock when Jerome Powell speaks. Listen, certainly if you're in housing, we want to see nothing happen. I think it seems like it's baked in the cake that we're going to see this 25 basis point hike. Doesn't necessarily mean we've seen over the last year the Federal Reserve increase interest rates at times and the 10-year drop. And if the 10-year drops, then the 30-year fix is going to drop. So he can raise federal interest rates and you may still see a 30-year drop. The federal interest rate and the 30-year are not tied together. The 10-year and the 30-year are tied together. Really important. Right after he talks, the first thing I'm going to be looking at is what's the 10-year market doing? What's the 10-year treasury doing? Because if that drops, then we know we're going to have a 30-year. We've seen it where he's raised and the 10 years gone up. It's just been unpredictable over the last 12 months what's going to happen. after he talks to the 30-year, because we've seen it both ways. Okay, so we're just going to watch the 10-year to see what happens, and let's take a look at where we're at on the 10-year as we sit here right now. We're basically flat on the 10-year as well. So all of the markets are just kind of sitting and waiting to see what happens. We're at 3.611 on the 10-year. I mean, almost exactly flat. Yesterday, when we took a look at it, we were up a little bit, and we said, okay, we're going to probably see the 30-year go up. We did. We saw the 30-year end the day at 6.75. I think yesterday was another day with two readings. There's a lot of days lately, it seems, where we get two 30-year fixed readings, but we ended the day, according to MND's daily survey, at 6.75. Be interesting to see if we have a 30-year reading before Jerome Powell speaks and then another one after. We'll just wait and see, but we'll obviously just continue to follow that 10-year to see what happens. And listen, a lot of people in the banking community want to see nothing, because we know the pressure on banks and what that can do to the economy overall, and push us closer to that big R word. All right. There's the update for today. Last day here in Portland. Mark, thank you so much. This has been Mark Davison is sitting right here. And so this has been an unbelievable conference. If you ever get a chance to come to any of 1,000 Watts Turn On events, they do it once a year. Do you do it every year? No, this is our third. This is the third. So we may start. This is a rare occasion, but they may start doing it every year. Just unbelievable, like no other event. And it was an honor to be able to do BAM Studio live for the first time ever in a real estate conference lobby. And so hope you guys have been following along. We're going to go live here as we open up the doors. So stay with us on the BAM channel. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be going live here in about an hour, probably in about an hour. Yeah, 8:30, 8 o'clock. So Eastern time, about an hour to an hour and a half. We'll be back here live. And until then, toodaloo.